Hello and thanks for joining me, your sports pilot James Glory, on another exciting edition of Sport Vibe on DNTWOK. Will bring you exciting and latest sport happenings across the world of sports every Tuesday. This week won't be an exception, so I would implore you to please stay tuned because we'll be right back shortly after this break. Welcome back, and starting from the world of tennis, where we talk about the man that has been informed in the year 2024, talking about Jannik Sinner, who has won the Miami Open to make it his third title in the year 2024. And after Jannik Sinner won the Miami Open, he has taken this step forward to become the number 2nd in the ATP ranking. Quite an interesting one, as Carlos Alcaraz drops to the number 3rd position. The number 1 position is still retained by Novak Djokovic, but Sinner is now the new number 2 in the world of tennis. An interesting one for Sinner, was able to win the Australian Open. He was also able to win the Rotterdam title, and now he has won the Miami Open. Is quite an interesting one for him in the world of tennis, and I know he's in form. Let's see what he will be doing in the next tennis that will be taking place on clay. Let's see if he will be able to continue with the form that he is on clay in the world of tennis. And let's move down to the world of football, where we talk about Arsenal Football Club, but this time around we'll be focusing on the Arsenal women's side, who were able to defeat Chelsea in the finals of the FA Cup. They were able to surpass Chelsea once again to defend their title in the FA Cup, as they were able to defeat Chelsea 1-0 in the finals of the FA Cup to win the title for the 7th time in the history of the FA Cup. Remarkable number 7 for Arsenal Football Club, as Arsenal were able to defeat Chelsea, their rival, who are sitting at the top of the Women's Super League. The season is an interesting one for Arsenal Football Club, but let's focus now on the Chelsea Football Club, talking about their women's football. They have been able to make it to the semi-finals of the Champions League, where they will be facing Barcelona, the current defending champion in the Champions League. It's going to be an interesting one to watch between these two. You remember that Barcelona were able to defeat Chelsea in their last meeting in the Champions League. Will Chelsea be able to take the revenge that they think and the revenge that they deserve in the Champions League? Remember, they were unable to take their revenge against Arsenal, and will they be able to take their revenge against Barcelona in the Champions League? And Lyon will be facing Paris Saint-Germain in the Women's Champions League. This is going to be an interesting one to watch between Chelsea and Barcelona, particularly in the Women's Champions League. And let's switch our attentions to the men's football, where we start from Germany. You talk about Xabi Alonso, who has decided to stay with Bayern Leverkusen for another year. You remember there have been so many speculations and so many teams interested in signing Xabi Alonso, but Xabi Alonso have decided to stay one more season. Let's see if he will be able to replicate the form that he is in the Bundesliga this season with Bayern Leverkusen and the next season. But before then, this season is still going on, and they have continued with their momentum and the form that they are in, taking their unbeaten record to 39 matches unbeaten in all competitions. Bayern Leverkusen are doing well in the world of football, and as things stands right now, they remain the only team that has not been beaten in European football. This season is an interesting one for them. Also, Xabi Alonso turning down Liverpool, a team he had played for once, and Bayern Munich that he had also played for at some point. Munich not getting the signature of Xabi Alonso, and Liverpool not being able to sign Xabi Alonso. Let's go on a very short break, and when we're right back, we continue from where we stop. Welcome back, and we are still talking football, an interesting one in particular, and we are seen in Germany where we talk about Bayern Leverkusen. You remember we talk about their rival, also Bayern Munich, that are representing in the Bundesliga this season. They are sitting at the second position. It's a devastating weekend for Bayern Munich as they were defeated by Borussia Dortmund during the weekend. 2-0. Borussia Dortmund has put an end to the title race of Bayern Munich. Remember that after their match between Borussia Dortmund and Bayern Munich, their head coach Thomas Tuchel came out to congratulate Bayern Leverkusen on winning the title. But I think definitely Thomas Tuchel may be playing mind games with Xabi Alonso, but you can take nothing away from the Xabi Alonso side, and also you can continue to stick to the fact that Tuchel has not been consistent with Bayern Munich. He has suffered a defeat against Borussia Dortmund, and the last time Borussia Dortmund were able to win Bayern Munich was in the year 2018 that they won Bayern Munich last. They have not been able to win Bayern Munich at the Allianz Stadium since the year 2014, where we saw Jurgen Klopp and Pep Guardiola representing the Bayern Munich side and Jurgen Klopp coaching the Borussia Dortmund side. That was the last time that Borussia Dortmund were able to win Bayern Munich at the Allianz Stadium, but the record has been broken by Borussia Dortmund last weekend. And yet another interesting one in the world of football, we will travel down to La Liga, the Spanish La Liga, where Real Madrid has shown dominance in the Spanish La Liga after the international break. Without Vinicius Jr., they were able to defeat Atletico Bilbao 2-0 during the weekend to extend their league at the Spanish La Liga, as they are 8-point clear Barcelona, who are currently sitting at the second position. Quite an interesting weekend that we can't forget in the Premier League. So many dramas just after the international break in the Premier League, where we saw Newcastle coming from behind to defeat West Ham that were leading 3-1 at the tail end, but you could see that eventually before the final whistle, Newcastle were able to win that match 4-3, and particularly you can't fail to talk about Chelsea and Manchester United that failed to win just after the international break. Before the international break, they were able to defeat Leicester, and Manchester United were able to defeat Liverpool in the quarterfinals of the FA Cup, but that was not the case when the Premier League returned, as the two were only able to get a point against Burnley and Brentford respectively. And talking about the Premier League and Chelsea and Manchester United, they will be facing themselves this Thursday in the Premier League, and let's see if they will be able to win in the Premier League this season. Chelsea are trying to find their place back to the top half, where Manchester United are trying to fight for the European spot in the world of football. Who will be winning this match between Chelsea and Manchester United on Thursday? Quick one in the Premier League. You can't fail to talk about the Premier League race that is quite an interesting one between Liverpool, Arsenal and Manchester City. During the week, we saw Manchester City sharing points with Arsenal Football Club at the Etihad Stadium, as Arsenal Football Club were able to walk away with a clean sheet from the Etihad Stadium for the first time in 6 years. And before the match between Manchester City and Arsenal, Manchester City has not failed to score a goal at the Etihad Stadium in their last 57 matches. But kudos to Arsenal Football Club, though they were unable to get the points, 3 points that they deserve, but they were able to share points with Manchester City at the Etihad Stadium. And this means Liverpool are at the top of the Premier League just after the international break. Liverpool are sitting at the top of the Premier League with 67 points, followed suit by Arsenal Football Club, who are on 65, and Manchester City, who are on 64 points. Who will be winning the Premier League this season? And I think this race will continue to the final day of the Premier League. Will Pep Guardiola be able to win this? I think the Manchester City side are not the Manchester City that we think they are in the Premier League this season. And let's see if Liverpool or Arsenal will be able to snatch the Premier League this season from the defending champion Manchester City. And this is the length at which we will be going on this week's episode of Sports Vibe on DNTWOK. For more news and sports stories, follow us across our various social media handles as Sports Vibe on DNTWOK. Enjoy your week. Remain blessed. Thank you.